Hi, I'm Erica Price, a genetic counselor and social media consultant with Golden. As a part of our Black History Month celebration, our genetic counseling assistant Ariel and I wanted to start a series on some genetic counseling basics. So, our first topic is going to be about family history.
So, what is family history? That definition can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people, right? From a medical standpoint, it normally involves someone telling us more information about the medical diagnoses for the family. So, your father has XYZ diagnoses from the age of this to this, etc., right? But for genetic counseling, it's also always important to know a little bit more about the family dynamics because that can help us get a better insight into how you're making the decisions that you're making about your medical care and why you make the decisions you make about your medical care. The next question then becomes, well, how do we document this? And for a genetic counselor, that answer is typically a pedigree. Now, a pedigree from a genetic counseling standpoint is normally a drawable family tree used to describe, document, and assess personal and medical family history. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the basics of pedigree creation, the symbols themselves, and we'll talk a little bit later about how that has changed over time to represent a more inclusive and diverse community. So how did this all start? Well, there were original publications about the standardization of making a pedigree and the symbols used, what they would call the nomenclature, published in 1995 and then updated in 2008. Now, obviously, there were genetic counselors before 1995. But as they were all practicing across the country, there wasn't necessarily an originally agreed upon way to draw a pedigree. And so 1995 was the first time really that there was a consensus written to paper on how to standardize writing a pedigree and drawing it out. So to give you some more information about what those things included in those original papers, and I do encourage you to go back and actually look at them. You probably look at them in your grad school career, but they essentially would start with an individual person, that patient called the proband, and you would ask questions about any of their medical history, how old they are. Then you would also ask questions about their family members and try to document how old they are. When did they pass away? How old were they when they passed away? Did they have any other medical conditions there? Normally, there is a section of the pedigree to maybe talk a little bit more about who is the person relaying this information, the historian. But those were kind of the basics. Now, male was symbolized as a square, female was symbolized as a circle, and then gender not specified was a diamond. For someone that was deceased, for example, you would put a slash through that person or that individual signified by either a diamond, square, or circle. And you normally write D period, the age in which they passed away. So those original papers in 95 and then revision in 2008 are now looked upon as a foundation, a way to tell those that are teaching, those that are practicing, here is what the standard is of documenting a family history. As you can imagine, because this is set in the past, there were some limitations to what was originally described. So as I mentioned, individual, male, female, and then gender not specified. But that obviously means that this was assigned gender by phenotype, which can be unclear. There was no distinction at that time for non-binary individuals. And then again, there were some limitations as it pertained to reproductive scenarios. So now there are a number of different ways that you can document specific reproductive scenarios. But at that time, the things that were really described were a sperm donor, egg donor, surrogacy, but that was more limiting at that time to heterosexual relationships typically. Now, in 2020, there was a revision of this pedigree nomenclature to essentially expand upon our growing awareness of those that are non-binary individuals, the documentation of sex and gender that more aligns with the person in front of me in 2023, right? And so the newest revision reflects some of those changes. The most recent revisions that are aiming to reflect a more diverse society. So you will see here that, again, we start off with male, female, but there are symbols that are used to denote gender and annotations that are used to denote sex assigned at birth. And so for a female assigned at birth, you would use AFAB. For a male assigned at birth, you would use AMAB. For unassigned at birth, UAAB. This also reflects those that have identities that are non-binary and gender diverse. This new revision also includes a number of different scenarios that are expanded upon from the original because there are just so many more ways that we approach reproduction. Why does this matter? Well, some of the core tenets, as you're listening and hopefully learning, are for genetic counseling are to create a collaborative effort. You're seeing the patient as your equal. Some people will also call a patient a client, so that you're not confused. And one of the ways that you do that is by meeting that patient where they are. And that practice of meeting them where they are and continuing to accept them as they are should be reflected in how we document what they say to us, how we document how they see themselves. So making sure that even our pedigrees, even the way we draw the family history should absolutely reflect what they are telling us and not what we are ascribing to them. Okay, well, that's it for our first Winning Wednesday of the month. Come back for next Wednesday's edition, which will be exploring the basics of inheritance pattern.